questions and then Senator Fawcett.
Just quickly follow up.
Of course.
Mr Murdoch, you're aware we've spoken before about Manual Standards 139, which goes to airport design. The fact that over the years we've seen what have essentially been open spaces for airports with standards put in place that as commercial pressures have built, then that real estate and that airspace has been encroached on right up to, and in some cases I would argue intruding in to the limits that MOS 139 is supposed to put in place. What Senator Xenophon is pointing to, I think, is the fact that if you look at a safety system holistically, a bit like James Reason and his accident causation model, what we're finding is that each of those pieces of Swiss cheese has been thinned to the absolute minimum that is permissible by law, which maximises the chance of an accident by minimising the options for a pilot who has a malfunction in an aircraft. And I guess the request here is that we sit back and look at this holistically, as opposed to saying, yes, they have met this requirement or that requirement, but look at the aggregation of the loss of margin and therefore options for an aircrew member who has an issue with an aircraft that has come about. And public safety zones are but one element of that whole system. And I guess I seek assurance from you, Mr Carmody, that CASA's approach to this, as we have discussed again on multiple occasions, will move beyond the it can be made safe by limiting the operations to this is what an airport is designed to do in terms of the Commonwealth lease, which says it must maintain its existing capacity and have the option to grow capacity, so that CASA will put its hand up and say, if these changes are made for existing or future operations, it will be unsafe, as opposed to saying it can be made safe by limiting operations, which has been the practice in the past. So I'd be seeking that assurance from you that the organisation will change the way it views its role in assessing that aggregation of safety implications.
Senator, I'll certainly look at that. Thank you. And I want to go through, I will need to go through, I understand the logic of the statement you made. I'd like to go back and review how it's actually done, but I understand the point you're making.
Well, I've raised on multiple occasions the example in Archerfield and the realignment and shortening of runways, and the fact that CASA ticked off on that, and yet as pointed out by the operators there, for them to comply with CASA's requirements in terms of planning for wet runways, climb gradients, factoring that they have to put in, they can't comply. Therefore, yes, it can be made safe by having reduced payloads, but that then affects the commercial viability of the operation and flies in the face of the terms of the lease for the airport.
Understood, Senator. Thank you.
Thanks, Chair.